we had been talking about it for quite a while. The initial encounter that we had when he visited the set of The Pickup Artist in 1985 was a very odd and intense one. Gary Hart was there with Warren Beatty, and Gary was the front runner for the Democratic nomination at the time. And Brian Hamill, a close friend of mine, brought Mike over, and Mike was about to become heavyweight champion and had just signed a Pepsi endorsement contract. And Gary Hart was trying to seduce Mike into becoming his liaison with the black community, which shows you how far we've traveled in these 23 years. And Tyson had just visited Jim Brown in Jim Brown's house, which I'd actually lived in a decade earlier, and Jim regaled him with some of the stories that were kind of legendary from that era. And Tyson, when he was introduced to me, said, "You're the white guy Jim Brown was telling me about." And he wanted to hear everything. And then we got onto the subject of madness somehow. It was about 6 a.m. We were walking alone through Central Park, and I said, I told him about losing the self and this feeling that the I was an artificial construct. And he was fascinated by it and kept grilling me about how it was possible not to exist but still to be here. What does it mean when you say you don't exist if in fact you obviously still do exist? And I kept saying, well, what do you mean when you say I? Do you just mean your physical being? Or is there something else that you're talking about? And if there is something else, what is it? Is it the brain? Is it some kind of spirit that has no actual physical place in your body? And these were all questions that clearly got to him right away and were things that were connected to feelings he's had before. And over the years, we had loads of conversations like that. And in particular, he started reading things on his own. Pete Hamill gave him a reading list. I gave him a reading list. And he would read in a very personal way Nietzsche, Machiavelli, Dostoevsky, Tolstoy, and he'd ask questions. And then when he went to prison, he read omnivorously. And when he got out of prison, the first thing he said to me was, well into my solitary confinement, I snapped, and all of a sudden I said, I'm now insane, and I now know what Toback meant by losing the self. And he said, the difference is that you got yours back, and I don't think I'm getting mine back. But I think that's been an ongoing struggle.